get this guy crowded a budget.
Good morning. On Tuesday, Pennsylvania Republicans will select our gubernatorial nominee for an election that will decide the direction of the Commonwealth that it takes for years to come. As a former small business owner, a mayor who served the people of Hazleton for a decade, as a strong conservative member of Congress for 8 years, I have the experience to turn Pennsylvania around. I am proven, road-tested, and ready to serve as the 48th governor of Pennsylvania. And in the closing days, I'm traveling the Commonwealth asking for support in the Republican primary election on May 17th. This morning, I am pleased to be joined by Senator Jake Corman, and I want to thank him for being with us. I think Jake will speak for this in a minute, but it is increasingly evident that it's important for Republicans to get behind one candidate who can win a nomination and then actually beat Josh Shapiro in November. I entered this race because I saw what Governor Tom Wolf and Josh Shapiro did to Pennsylvania during the pandemic. During the height of COVID-19, we all watched as Governor Tom Wolf wrecked our economy, deciding which businesses had to close and which could stay open. Attorney General Josh Shapiro, who will be the Democratic nominee in this race, stood silently and did nothing to help Pennsylvanians who saw their life's work ruined when they were forced to close their businesses while large chain stores were allowed to remain open. When I am governor, we will declare all of Pennsylvania open for business again. Get the government out of the way and allow entrepreneurs to do what they do better than anyone else, create jobs. As governor, I will unleash Pennsylvania's energy industries to create jobs, and I will remove Pennsylvania from the job-killing regional greenhouse gas initiative, which kills jobs and doesn't even help the environment. I will support police, give them the tools they need to protect our citizens, and I will crack down on sanctuary cities which harbor illegal immigrants. I will fight for the rights of parents to be involved in their kids' schools, and I will stand for school choice so that no child is trapped in a failing school because of where they live. And I will fight for election security and integrity. I have a history of beating Democrats, having been elected mayor in a heavily Democratic city and defeated a 26-year incumbent Democrat for Congress. There is no question that as the Republican nominee, I can also beat Josh Shapiro. The people of Pennsylvania know me. I am proven, road-tested, and ready to lead. Again, thank you all for being here, and thanks very much to Jake Corman for being here. And I know this probably was a difficult decision for him to come to. Senator Corman.
I called Lou yesterday, told him it was his last chance to get out of the race and support me. Didn't quite go that way, but since I got in this race 7 months ago, the overriding discussion was the Republican Party has a lot of good candidates, but we need to coalesce around one candidate. And over time, that obviously hasn't happened, as there's still 9 people in the race. And this is an opportunity. Let me speak first for the moment as a Republican, and then more as a Pennsylvanian as a whole. Republicans have lost 4 of the last 5 governor races, and at a time when Tom Wolf is leaving office with historic low approval ratings, where the country and Pennsylvanians have rejected the Biden agenda. This is a time where they're looking for new leadership in Pennsylvania. It's an opportunity as Republicans to win this governor's race and then accomplish things for the people of Pennsylvania. And the only way I think that we will not be successful in the fall is if we stay divided and nominate someone that can't possibly win in the fall. And so with that in mind, as I wear 2 hats in this campaign. First as a candidate for governor, obviously, but also as the President Pro Tem of the Senate and de facto one of the leaders of the Republican Party. And so it's my job to show leadership when it matters. And so today, I think putting the party first, it's time for me to step aside and support someone who can win in the fall. I think the amazing thing about Lou's campaign is he's consistently been towards the top of the polls in this race, despite spending far less money than other candidates. It shows his popularity, shows his tenacity, You know, a lot of people may talk about Senate race a couple years ago, but you know, those who know Lou's career, when he won Congress, it wasn't his first shot at it, but he kept coming back. He kept coming back and closer, and then ultimately defeated a long-term incumbent, and that shows his commitment, his tenacity, his strength of character to continue to fight and do the right things. And so, as a Republican Party, I think it's time that we do coalesce, and I would strongly advise, I'm not big on advising other people on their candidacy, other candidates in this race to think about the same way. What is important is that the party itself and our ability to put a candidate forward who can ultimately debate and win in the fall. And then let me finally just say, as a Pennsylvanian, because this is the most important thing. You know, the problem that I've seen in Harrisburg, as someone who's been here the last 16 years at least, we've had a legislative branch and an executive branch that has not worked very well together. And we've missed opportunities, I think, to grow Pennsylvania. You know, probably the relationship between the governor and the legislature is at an all-time low right now. And that's not good for Pennsylvanians. I think Lou, as someone who served as the executive of a city, who had to work with the council, who served as a congressman, as a part of the legislative branch, who had to work with the president, is uniquely qualified to come in and repair that relationship and work with Republicans and Democrats alike to move Pennsylvania forward in the direction, as he said, that creates jobs, that empowers parents, that supports our heroes in law enforcement. I think Lou is perfectly positioned as that experience to be able to accomplish this and to get things accomplished for the people of Pennsylvania. Because I've said many times in this campaign, it doesn't matter what you're for. That's important, but if you don't accomplish it, you know, what good are you in public service? We have to be measured by our results. And I think Lou is in the best position to get results once he's governor for the people of Pennsylvania. So that's why today I am proud to add my voice, someone who has known Lou for many years, more years than either one of us would like to admit. Comes from a great family, a great part of the state. I'm glad to add my voice to support him. I want to, you know, it's difficult. My name will obviously remain on the ballot. I even asked my mother last night to vote for Lou. It's going to be hard for a mother to go on her ballot and see their son's name and not check it. But I said, I won't be checking my name. I'm going to ask you to check Lou Barletta's name. Lou Barletta is the man at the right time, the right place for the people of Pennsylvania, and I'm happy here today to support him. So, Lou, good luck to you, my friend.
Hey, you open up for any questions?
Yes, sir. There's been talk for weeks about coalescing around one candidate, and now this occurs shortly after Shapiro puts out an ad effectively endorsing Mastriano. Is it too late at this point?
Now, look, one thing, and I just remind them of what Lou said. You know, one thing about this race we've seen is there's been a lot of undecideds, and there's a lot of people that, even though in the polling that may have picked a candidate, still was in a position to maybe change their mind. And so I think people are now just beginning to really focus on this race. I think this is the time. You know, if I'd have done this weeks ago, and I promised him I wouldn't, like Al Gore, I wouldn't call him back a third time. You know, if you do this weeks ago, people sort of forget it, and it's not as big a picture. You know, we're now, you know, obviously in the 11th hour of this race. I think people are really focusing on this race this time. So, you know, it is 11th hour, and we need to do it now. But I think now is the time, and I'm happy to do it.
Yeah, I agree. I think, you know, we said with such a large field, you know, the party and the support was so fractured, which made it very difficult. As we're coming down to the final days, you know, I may not have been somebody's first choice, maybe not their second choice, maybe not even their third choice. But come election day, I believe we're all united that we cannot let Josh Shapiro become our next governor. And some of that support, which may have been for another candidate, when people go into that booth, may vote to will give us the best chance to win. So I think some of those decisions will actually be made on election day.
I think you kind of got to this, but are you concerned that if this Stop Mastriano campaign succeeds, that you could end up turning off those Republicans who were supportive of Senator Mastriano?
So I think, you know, why I believe I'm the best candidate to unite us is that I have never said one negative word about anybody that has run. I haven't run one negative ad. I personally like Doug Mastriano. This has nothing to do with him or any other candidate. I believe I'm the best person to bring our party together. I like to say that I can get support in a bar room and a boardroom. You know, we can get together, and I have a history of beating Democrats. And at the end of the day, that's what matters. That's why we all put our name on the ballot in the first place. So this is no disrespect to Doug Mastriano or any other candidates. I just believe that my background and history puts us in the best position. And the fact that I have been either first or second in every poll since I announced shows that there was support. In spite of the millions of dollars that have been spent, I still believe that I'm in the best position to not only win the primary but beat Shapiro.
What about you, Senator Corman? When you said that you wanted to back a candidate that really could put a fighting chance toward beating Shapiro, do you think that Doug Mastriano could have gotten it done?
Look, you know, as someone, you know, not all voters think this way. I do. Is, you know, when I vote in a primary, I vote strategically. You know, obviously, a lot of people. There's a lot of good candidates in this race. There's one thing I've really enjoyed is being out in the campaign trail, getting to know the other candidates and making friends. You know, Dr. Zaman and I will be friends for life now. He's just a great man, and I still think his story is made up because it's too good to be true. And so there are a lot of good candidates. But as you saw in the Democratic primary for president last time, you know, there was a lot of candidates. They strategically went behind Joe Biden because they thought he offered ultimately the best chance to win. I think Lou offers us the best chance to win. I think Lou, is his background, his tenacity, as I mentioned before, offers us the best chance to win, and I think he offers us the best chance to have a great governor. The two things are important. So I would ask the voters to think about when they get into that booth, who offers a Republican who offers us the best chance to win. I think that's Lou. And who offers us the best chance to have a great governor to move Pennsylvania forward. And again, I think that's Lou.
If you both could address this, is there a concern that this feeds into the populist ideal of what Senator Mastriano kind of built on, the career politicians teaming up against them, the system's corrupt? Does this feed into does the risk reward here, doing this days before for you guys, end up helping him because he can say, see, they're out to get me, I'm the only one that can save you, and does it do enough for you now that we're only days away from the election?
Well, listen, I'm honored to have, you know, Senator Corman's support, and I hope that I would get the support of all the other candidates if they chose to do that. I'm trying to win this election, and I know, you know, Doug Mastriano is trying to win it as well. So, no, I don't think this feeds into anything other than I'm presenting to the people of Pennsylvania that I will give the Republicans the best chance in November. That's nothing negative against anyone else, but I believe my record shows that. And it's important as we come down. We've worked very hard. You know, but I believe in the final days, I'm making my case that if you look at my record, you know, having the executive experience to actually govern, which is very important. You know, at the end of the day, we don't win an election. Somebody's going to be our governor. I have that record. I check every box that is needed. I've run against Democrats. I've beaten Democrats. I've been on the national stage. I can handle the pressure. I need to make that case to everyone, and that's what this is about. This is in no way a negative reflection on anyone, on Doug Mastriano or any of the other candidates.
Senator, just from a little sort of logistical point of view, you mentioned a moment ago that you will remain on the ballot on Tuesday. That means county election board probably have to put flyers in polling places saying you're not on the ballot. I mean, is there capacity here to confuse voters? Like, oh, I thought that guy.
No, but there won't be any of that. I mean, the counties won't do anything. They're just going to run the election. My name will just appear. You know, as again, I'm asking people. You know, the hard thing about doing this is all the people who work so hard for you in your campaign, volunteers and family members and all that. And so, but again, as someone who you know, wants to make sure that we have the right person as our nominee and right person to be the governor, I'm asking those friends of mine, those supporters of mine, even though my name will be there, not to vote for me. My daughter's first election. She's I tell her, don't vote for me. Don't vote for your dad. Vote for Lou Barletta. It's hard, but I don't know. It's confusing. Most people, you know, I think we'll be fine, but there won't be any signs or anything like that. So I'm just asking the people of Pennsylvania who were going to vote for me to vote for Lou.
Senator Corman, if I can ask you what I asked, is there a concern that this does not do much for your case, but helps Senator Mastriano.
Look, that's analysis I can't do. You know, I'm doing what I think is the right thing. And that's all I can do in my life is do what I think is the right thing. And I think the right thing is to coalesce. It should have probably happened maybe a little sooner, but nevertheless, it's still time. And that's why I encourage other candidates to do the same. This is, you know, again, an opportunity for Republicans to win this November. I think the people of Pennsylvania, if you look at generic polling and so forth, believe in our message. And Lou has articulated that very well on the campaign trail. So, and I think Lou makes a great point. He hasn't run one negative ad. I haven't heard him say one negative thing about another candidate anywhere in the race. By the way, neither have I. But I think that speaks a lot to Lou. So he's not running against someone, he's running for someone, for a position. And I think the people of Pennsylvania will support him.
Senator, did you have any conversations with the former president about this?
No.
I did ask Jake to turn his phone off, and we're done with this.
I only asked that because the first time that we were here.
I talked to him last week, but not about this. But I know he's very fond of Lou. Obviously, Lou was one of his first supporters ever. I think, you know, the president decided not to endorse in this race, and I respect that. But no, I have not.
Lou, why isn't Doug Mastriano electable in the fall?
No, I'm not going to answer whether it is or not. You know, I'm just trying to present that why I think I'm a better candidate to be elected in the fall. So that's the case I'm making. I'm not, you know, I'm not going to say anything negative. You know, he's going to run his campaign. I'm running my campaign as we all are. But I just think it's important to unite our party. I mean, the best thing that the Democrats can get out of this primary is that we come out of this fractured. And I think it's important, and I really admire Jake's leadership of really putting the party first and realizing that as a party, you know, there's two different paths for Pennsylvania come this election. And it's now important to make sure that we put our own personal feelings aside and do what's best for the people of Pennsylvania. And I admire that he was the one to step up and become the leader in doing that. But my message is that I'm the one that can unite us again. We have to come out of this primary as one. And
Do you have any policy differences with Doug Mastriano?
You know, I said yesterday I did an interview with the New York Times. I said there's, you know, if you listen to all of the candidates during our forums and debates, there was very little light between us on policy issues. You know, there wasn't a lot of space between where we stand on policy issues. I believe the decision people need to make is who can beat Josh Shapiro. So that's the case that I'm making today, is that I give Republicans the best chance of uniting, because if we come out of this divided, we make it easier for Josh Shapiro. We need to come out united, and we need somebody in the ring who's actually has a record of beating Democrats, and that's, you know, that's what I present.
Somebody, I know at least one of the other front runners has said, I'm not getting out of the race. You still have Bill McSwain, you still got Dave White, and Doug is obviously still in the race. Some people might look at this endorsement today and say this is too little, too late. Have you been in contact with other campaigns as well about potentially trying to get behind you?
No, I have not talked to any of the other candidates, and again, that's got to be a personal decision for themselves. But what I will present, that I have been first or second in every poll since the day I announced. There's now 5 days left, and I think each person needs to, you know, look at their campaign and where they want to go. And I'm, you know, it's not for me. That's a personal decision. But again, I believe at this point, with just 5 days left, I give us the best chance, and I would hope, you know, some of the others will take a look at that.
On that point of unity, will both of you back whoever the nominee is, whether it's you or not?
I do not want Josh Shapiro to be our next governor. I will support any Republican that wins this election. I'm certainly not going to sit back. I have 10 grandchildren. That's why I got in this race. You know, I'm going to do everything I can to make sure Josh Shapiro is not our next governor.
Thank you.
Thank you.